everybody. Hi, it's Becky from powertoolswiththread.com. That's my blog. Oh, one of you said that you went to go to the blog to subscribe and you didn't see where you could. I'm glad you reminded me of that. I'm going to go onto the blog and take a look at it and see if I can't move this. I think it's down at the bottom of the page. I'm not sure where it shouldn't be. I need to move it to the top. I need a new blog template is what I need. But it takes time. I don't have time. I hope you guys are doing well. I got to go to my quilt store yesterday, my local quilt store, Scrappy Quilter in Shirts, Texas. Oh, balm for the soul. I got inspiration there. I got to visit with my girls. Oh, it was so nice. Now you got to wear your mask and, you know, you have to hand sanitize as soon as you walk in the door. But it was great. It was just so good to visit again. And I was in there because y'all remember my last chit chat with you guys. I had shown this new pattern from Villa Rosa Designs called Animal March. I was showing that you could use one of those baby book quilt panels to make that, because you see it's got nine pictures like this. Okay. And I had a dinosaur baby book panel, and the panel I had was called I Love You This Much, and it is a Henry Glass fabric. And the size of the blocks that they have on the pattern, I really didn't have, that panel didn't cut out to this size, so I had to add some extra fabric. But I went over there to also get the rest of the fabric for the quilt, and let me show you how it turned out. I think it turned out adorable. Look at that. That was the first attempt at doing mitered corners and on borders, and so far it was okay. They didn't match perfectly on the stripe, but the corners turned out fine. There's a video on YouTube I used to do that. So you can see, like here I didn't have enough fabric. So we have the dinosaur, the white, and then there's a dark navy blue, a lighter blue, and a dark navy blue as you go outward. When you get to the first teal stripe on the sides, that's a fat eighth that I had. And then the teal bubbles up on the top and bottom, that is also I think that was a fat quarter I had. And then from there, I purchased at the quilt store, I got the teal border, the dark teal border all around, and the yellow, wrong way, and the stripe for the overall borders. I am so happy with how this turned out. It is too stinking cute, you guys. So I'll put a link to all the fabrics below. Oh, I got a pin in this. But I just stuck myself. Hazards of being a quilter, right? Hold on, I need a Kleenex before I bleed on my fabric. What I ended up getting was the dark teal and the yellow. So the dark teal is a basic gray grunge from Moda. The yellow is also part of the grunge line. It has little dots on it, and it's called Hits the Spot. The border, they had it right when you walk in the door. They have a big thing full of fabrics that they're featuring, and it is called Homegrown Salsa by Deb Strain from Moda. And the yellow, the oranges, there's some green teal in here. It all just worked. I couldn't believe it. And it works perfect. It was crazy how that turned out. And then I got another Hits the Spot. Hits the Spot in red will be my binding. The backing is this orange, and it just matches perfectly with the spots. The teal little dots that are in there on the top and bottom borders of the blocks are an Urban Elements Basics, and this is the same line in the orange. So it's just so cool that it worked out. I found the dots in the orange for the backing. And then my thread, I'm going to use a really soft yellow thread that will disappear on the backing and you won't hardly see it on the front. So that's so neat. And then the pattern I'm going to use to quilt it, I'm not quilting it on my long arm because of the size of it. It's pretty small. I think it's like 50 by 50. And what I'm going to do with it is put it on Spanky back here using Designs by Juju's end-to-end quilting, the dino print. Isn't that adorable? Look at that. Oh, there was a question too when I had done the how-to video on the end-to-end quilting. What if, so this pattern is 8 by 12 to fit the magnetic hoop. There's so many questions you guys had about that, and I need to do a video just to answer your questions. But if you're watching this just real quick, first of all, that multi-piece magnetic hoop is by Brother, and you can only get it at a dealer. It will work on any machine that has the vertical touchpad, okay? The computer that's vertical. If you have one that's horizontal, I don't think it will fit. But I seem to recall, I watched a video that Brad Martin did on it, and I think he said that if you have the vertical touchpad, Baby Lock or Brother, that hoop will fit it. So that hoop, the magnetic hoop, is 8 by 12, and that's what I want to do. Well, with an 8.5 by 11 printer size limitation, it printed out most of it on one and a little bitty bit on the other. So yes, I will tape these together and use them as one. I'll trim it. So I got to tape that little bit of extra on right there and then trim that. So that's 2 questions about 2 pages of design that come out, and then that one. Also, there's been a lot of questions about starting off the edge of your project or having it stitch way off the edge of your project. If you're not going to figure out the math to make that fit and confine within your space based on your design size, I just want to let you guys know, by its very nature, pantograph quilting does start off the edge of a project and finishes off the edge of a top. It does a full line of stitching, and then the long armor will advance the quilt and start it again and do it. It's not like custom quilting. Pantograph quilting is done either hand-driven, where there is a long repeating pattern piece of paper that's on the back end of the long arm, and the long armor stands behind the machine and follows a laser light on the design, but they start just off the edge of the quilt usually, and then they will finish just off the edge of the quilt. Or you'll have a computer. I have a computer on my long arm, and when I start my foot, when I start the design and give the parameters on the computer, I start it just off the edge of the quilt top and finish just off the edge. Those of you that are quilters, you kind of understand that because you've dealt with that for so long. And when you get your quilt top back from your long armor, or if you long armor it yourself, you know that you trim your quilt, the backing and or any batting that's on the sides, you trim it even with the quilt top. So there's nothing left. When you get it back from the long armor, generally there's nothing left on the edges of the quilt. The stitching goes all the way off the edge. A lot of embroiderers, they like to leave a couple of inches all the way around, like a wall hanging or something like that, and then they'll fold it in again to create the binding. You really can't do that with these pantograph designs because that's not how pantograph quilting works. It is understood when you do pantograph quilting that your stitching will go all the way to the edge because it generally went off the edge when it was done by the long armor. I hope that makes sense. I'm sorry. I should have been clear about that. You know, being a quilter, I kind of assumed that everybody knew that, but a lot of you are embroiderers and you've never done a quilt top like that and so didn't think about it. There was another question too. Can you use painter's tape instead of the tape that I recommended in the video? You can, but the problem with it is that it doesn't handle the manhandling very well. If you're on a limited budget and you only have painter's tape, I would recommend that you baste it with your sewing machine and do that. Put it on your longest stitch on your sewing machine. Once you have it spray basted, then I would put it in your sewing machine and baste that down. I've done that before and it works okay. To me, using tape is just easier than basting it, but that's completely up to you, whatever you want to do. The two types of tape that I linked to in that video, one of them is tear away and one of them is wash away. And I would use the wash away tape if you're going to have very dense stitching along the sides so that it will go away. You can pick out the tape that's tear away and it comes off very easy. It just completely depends. So like this is a very wide and open stitching design. I would use tear away on this one, tear away tape. Okay, so I got some stuff in the mail. Moda has solids that are called Bella. They have a whole Bella line of Bella solids. And Fat Quarter Shop had this, it's adorable. It's yardage. It's not a panel, it's yardage. And it says, my favorite color is Moda. And so you have all of their solids in little dots. And I thought that was just cool. These are neat if you need a solid and you can't tell the color online. It has their name underneath each circle. It has the name. So that's always handy to have if you're going to order Bella solids. And then I bought the yardage. I don't know. I thought maybe it would make a cute lining to a tote bag or something like that. Who knows? That'll be fun, wouldn't it? Speaking of tote bag, when I went into the quilt store, I took my weenie dog tote with me. Everywhere I went, I was in the grocery store. Do you have a weenie dog? And then I went to go to the doctor's office. Oh, I have a Chiweenie dog. And I'm like, what? Chihuahua? Dachshund? I know I say that wrong. One of you corrected me. Sorry. It's been a dachshund my whole life. I'm too old to change. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Pat Sloan in her video, I think it was yesterday, they were doing, that's Block Wednesday, and it had a really cute little outline of a dog on her block. It's the quilt at home, something home. And her block was called Man's Best Friend. And she talked about how she wasn't raised with dogs. And she got dogs in her life when she married Greg. That's just neat. A little peek into the... You okay? Goodness. A little peek into the life of Pat Sloan. I was thinking about that. I could not imagine. I've got one. I'm petting on one right here. My blue dog. She's my Australian cattle dog. And I have had dogs for as long as I can remember. There are pictures of me, my mom had of me. I was about 2.5 or 3. We lived, do you mind? Ah, thanks. We lived in base housing in Portsmouth Naval Air Station. And I had weenie dogs. That was the last time I had a dachshund weenie dog. And for my entire life, we have had dogs. They're good company, and they, of course, I have the dog bell feature in the house, and that's kind of nice too. And especially when I was single. I had dogs when I was single. I like their protective natures and just good companionship. I like cats too, but I can't have cats because Blue, she's not a fan. My room is coming right along, my new sewing studio. I have been looking at furniture, and I think I'm going to go with Arrow's kangaroo cabinets. I am looking at the Aussie 2. The cabinet that Spanky is sitting on is an Arrow cabinet, and it's very good quality. And so I mean, Keith and I looked at Koala at the show in 2019? Yeah, we were at the show. We looked at Koala cabinets. Very good quality. At the time, it was going to be overpowering for this room. I had no intention at the time of moving into the other room. And then Horn also makes a very good cabinet. But I think the best bang for the buck in my book is going to be the Arrow. So I'll be ordering those from all brands. I haven't done so yet, but I think that's what I'm going to get. And also, we went to Home Depot and I picked my flooring. I'm getting a pretty soft gray flooring. Let me show you. I got 2 of the samples. Okay, I don't know if you can tell in the light. I don't have maybe that's a little better. I don't have my ring light here behind the camera anymore because the room is so dark where my sewing studio is going to go. So my camera light got repurposed into the other room. because we don't have the lighting installed yet, but we got to get the ceiling painted. The ceiling is going to be polar bear. It's a bear, B-E-H-R, it's bear. And it's the polar bear color, I think. And then the gray is going to be fast as the wind. This is it, like a soft gray. My lighting here, I'm trying to get it so you guys can see the color. So there is barnwood on the bottom half of my wall. So the top half of the wall is going to be the gray color, and then the barnwood and the ceiling will be this color. So let me take you in there and show you the progress. Keith tore a wall down. We had a big hole in the wall where the previous owner had a rear projection television. So that is gone, and there was this big hole. So Keith pulled all that down, demoed that, and put up a new wall. And he's in the middle of sanding now and taping and floating and doing all that business. So let me take you in there and take a look. There's my ring light I was telling you guys about. And see, it's very dark in here. I've got those two windows, and that's east. So I get morning light, and then that's the light that was above the pool table. That is coming down. And there's my wall guy right there. Can I say hi?
Hello.
Hello. So yeah, see, the big hole in the wall was right there. And so he took that out and demoed that. And then this is where an old garage door was, and it was all messed up. So he taped and floated on that. But the brown, that's all decoupage paper sacks. And see how dark it is in here? But, so the brown will be gray, and then the boards down there will be white. And then we will have gray floor on here. So, those are my dogs sleep. My husband wants to be his own general contractor, so I understand that. Men get a lot of satisfaction out of doing their own thing like that. Well, women too, pardon me. It's going to take probably 2 months instead of 2 weeks. It's fine, it's fine. I got plenty to do to keep me busy in here. And to be honest, I'm not looking forward to moving all this stuff. We might hire someone to put the flooring in because his knees are shot after years of being in the military and pushing pallets around up into C-130s. I'm definitely having a crew move all of this into the new room. Many of you have asked me about the tables here that I have on Sewing Machine Row on this side of my room, and the luminaire sits on one of those tables. That's a Linman table from IKEA, and it is not sturdy enough to handle the shake from the embroidery machine. And matter of fact, my husband a year or so ago took an L bracket and actually bolted it to the wall so the table wouldn't shake. And that's one of the reasons I'm getting that new Aero cabinet, the Aussie 2, is because I need a table that is big enough and sturdy enough to withstand the shake of the luminaire of Darla. And then, of course, Spanky will be on his cabinet right there, too. A lot of this stuff is going to go into the new room, but I still need additional storage. I'm going to put an island in the middle of it. This table right here is going to become my my computer workstation and stay my computer workstation, and that will be separate. Right now, my computer workstation and my cutting table share the same space, and in the new room, they're going to be separate. But I'm just so excited about that. I can't wait. I am dragging my feet on the move. A very good friend of ours came over last week, and he had a fully enclosed trailer, and we put the pool table and the bar and all of the game room stuff, and that's in that trailer out in the back 40 on my property back here. So that's kind of where everything is at right now. What's my shirt say? It says, I'm sewing at home, so I don't need social distancing. I got it from T Public. They have a whole bunch of cute sewing shirts. You guys always ask me, where did I get my shirt? What's it say? So I thought, I want to let you know too, I got in the next month for the Sew by Row from Lori Holt. This is checkerboard stars. The 4th month's checkerboard stars. I also bought additional background fabric. What did I do with that? I bought additional background fabric of like 6 different pieces just to make sure because I don't trust myself. But I went to Fat Quarter Shop and got a lot of the additional shabby cloud and all the fabrics that they have that are used in that quilt. The sew by row I'm doing is from a quilt shop in Texas called Stitch in Heaven, and they started last October. They have some gorgeous blocks of the month quilt. They call themselves block of the month headquarters. I will link to them below. You guys, I saw this one. This is called Taos. I love that quilt. Oh, I would love to make it. It wouldn't go with a thing in my house. Here or at the coast, so I'm not going to make it, but oh, that is gorgeous. You guys need to go take a look over at Stitch in Heaven. No affiliate at all. Go take a look at them and see if there's something there that can keep you busy. I had mentioned I was going on the shop hop and that I was going to be in Richmond and Sugarland. Well, Sugarland is no longer participating in that particular shop hop. So I just want to let you guys know that Lisa, my quilty buddy Lisa, and I are going from Port O'Connor, and we're going to start at Richmond and work our way back and come back to Two Chicks and then go to Victoria and then before it's a quilt in Port Lavaca. I think that's right. And I'm missing one somewhere. Anyway, so I will not be at the shop in Sugarland. Sorry about that. All right, you guys, I've chattered on long enough. I just wanted to bring you up to speed and tell you what's going on. And I will give you frequent updates on the room so you can see the progress and see how it's going. We will talk to you soon. Go sew something. Bye.